All right, we had some technical glitches, but I'm going to go ahead and spend a few minutes with you. But before we really get going, I want to say thank you to all the veterans, everybody, all the veterans, even the ones that we never know about what they do and how they, whatever they've done to protect the country and everything like that. But also, on top of that, even the people that we don't know that what they do. For instance, what about the guy in the military that takes a flight out on a nice little plane, big one, okay? I won't say what kind. He flies and takes off, and guess what? He takes off and no one even knows where he goes. In fact, that sometimes they don't even know if they don't come back. I want to thank those guys and women. When I say guys, I mean men and women, okay? So everyone knows. Also, I say the people in the United States and their parents. Parents. Anyone that's grown up that have kids, cousins, nephews, whoever's younger than you, go online and Google the oath for the Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. Pull those three things. Pull their oath, and you need to really read the oath they take. You really need to understand the oath, and the oath is to the paper, to protect the paper. Read the oath. As you move higher up in the ranks, you begin to realize, whoa, that's why you behave differently towards the people of the USA Inc. So there's 320 plus million people in the United States, and I'm willing to bet hardly any of you have ever even thought about reading the oath that a military person takes to this United States Inc. All right? Okay, with that said, let's move on forward. I think what I want to do now is also another thing is this. I'd like to go ahead and get something started because the most important part is, guess what? It's getting all nice again. I think we should go ahead and have it all. Let's play that nice, good music again because it's time to get really all excited and everything like that. So let's do this. Yeah, baby, let's get it. This is what I'm talking about. Every time I get on the phone. Woo! That's it. This is what I'm talking about. I don't care what time it is. This is the best time.
Gotta wake up, let's get up.
Yeah.
Get up.
Woo! I don't care before you get it started, before you go into a meeting. This is what we do at the Millionaires Club. This is it. This is it. Okay, this is awesome. All right, guys, that's what I'm talking about. This is the hype you got to get going. You guys, let me tell you. All right, let me go ahead and move on forward now. Since okay. I hope you all enjoyed that for a few moments because I'm telling you that it's awesome. Okay. All right. Anyways, with that said, let's move on and go to the next level of what we're going to go ahead and talk about is this. Remember what we're talking about is that it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. These are the things you want to begin to understand that when you're working in the business, that's a big, big deal. One thing you want to begin to remember, corporations only pay taxes when they make a profit. Those who have an LLC, it stays the same, but I want to remember is this. You have more power with a corporation than you do with an LLC. Again and again and again, I'm going to tell you, you really need to Google. I have to go back again and pull that attorney's name and his own wording that he said about LLCs. And I'm telling you, he said this, and I've been saying this even since the internet in the 90s when it started coming up, when start doing it out there. Let me tell you, I've been saying this when the LLCs first started. It's the most biggest, unorthodox, quickest way to get yourself in trouble. Why do I say that? It's because is that one of the things you don't realize is that when you do that, you're going to find out that you don't really have a lot of protection. It's just like it's temporary, but it's not permanent because you're still a managing member, and it's still like being a DBA of you is a DBA of you. But an LLC is still you because you're the managing member. Now, yes, now a lot of you do co-sign for a lot of this stuff. It's kind of goofy, but I'll talk about that later. That's why even when people have it, when I even tell a person to do a DBA, you can do a DBA and then get a tax ID with that DBA and use the tax ID still to build your business credit for about 6 to 8 months, then move it into an LLC, but then move it into a corporation. Like in Texas, it's the same cost, $300. In Texas, it's $300 to do an LLC or a corporation. So why not do a corporation? Why not do a corporation? It's going to cost the same, no difference. This way you have more protection, but as you begin, you grow, we tell you how you have protection. We're not here to be your attorney. We're not here to be your CPA. We're not here to go ahead and be your financial advisor or anything else like that. We're here to coach you and consult you on basically what we do based on what we have our attorneys tell us. You should see. All right, this is just today. Let's see if I got, there we go. This is just today, okay? This is just today. Okay? This is just today that we received all the letter of opinions on projects that we're working. Even when I do my webinars, I need to say I'm not here to be your attorney. I need not practice any law. I'm not here to, in fact, I can't even, I'm telling you right now, when we do an affidavit, okay? When we do an affidavit, usually it's a mano a mano, okay? Not against the corporation, go against the people in the corporation. That's the biggest thing. You really have to understand how to play that game. Attorneys will try to say, oh, you don't have to listen to it. But when it goes in front of a judge, if they don't answer it, the judge is going to ask them, just like the IRS does. They send you a letter out and say, hey, you owe us $10 trillion billion, and you don't answer it, you have 30 days to answer that puppy. And if you don't, by your acquiescence and your silence, you just agreed. They're the best masters at it, and that's where I figured it out, why they have affidavits. And if you pay attention to before they even do a complaint, where they come and arrest you, they got to do an affidavit. But they notice they don't send you the affidavit until after they bring you in. Then they tell you what the complaint is, and the complaint is based on an affidavit. So you don't have a chance to answer the affidavit on the outside. Then you got to go get an attorney to answer the affidavit. You can answer that commercial affidavit, but you got to know it's there before that. If you check the records and on Pacer, you can go on Pacer and always monitor yourself or monitor your business on a daily or weekly basis, or however you want to do it. And then from there, if you catch it, you have a chance to go ahead and rebut it before it gets to the point where now he didn't rebut, so he acquiesced, so he must be guilty. Oh, I'm telling you, the whole thing you've got, that's what we teach you. You need to know this stuff so you can go when you talk to your attorney, you can say, look it, have your clerk or your law person look up the information and find this and that. You got to be able to know enough to since you're going to hire him, and if you don't really have any unspa to go ahead and really say, hold on, buddy, I'm paying you, you're working for me, find this. Have your clerk find it. Have your law person find it. Tell me I'm wrong. Show it to me. See, a lot of things you understand are statutes and codes, and a lot of you think they're laws. Then when someone says it's a policy and procedure, that's not law. What's a policy? Okay, great. Well, my policy says this then too. My policy says I don't have to like your policy. I mean, there's all this stuff, and you really have to know. It's not that you're trying to go ahead and be not lawful, but the thing is you want to make sure that within the system they've given you to work in, you know how to work within the system. And this is what I'm telling you about. When you begin to build your business credit, you've got to understand these things. It's just not building about credit. It's just, you've just got to, it's just, I don't know. All I can tell you is just I get really, really upset about the fact that a lot of people don't do things to take care of themselves. And you want to also discover the ways to make an income and build your business credit. There's a lot of ways to do it, lots of ways to do it. One thing, like I said, when you work with us, we will go ahead and provide you with a training for the 7 steps to get you the 6-figure business funding. From business, make your company business credit ready, network with local banks. Network with local banks does not mean you're going to always be in there. You're not going to have an account with them right away. You want to ask them, hey, what do you provide? You interview them. You're bringing their business to them. They're not bringing the business to you. A lot of you've got so sheepish. And the reason why I'm really adamant about that, sheepish is this, and is this. You want to know what sheepish is? I'm going to give you a real good example. IRS. When a lot of you get a letter in the mail from the IRS, a lot of you, man, just disintegrate. You put your head in the sand like the ostrich and like it's not going to be there. Instead of buckling up and go, okay, great. Now it's my turn to answer them. And then the way you answer them tells you if you owe money or not. You never say, I don't owe you that money. Just say, based on my records, the information is incorrect. Because the minute you say, I don't owe you that money, they write you back and say, great, then what do you owe us? Versus, according to my records, is incorrect. Then they're going to have to go ahead and do an assessment. What kind of assessment can they do? And do they really do an actual assessment? Can you ask for that actual assessment? Anyways, now also another thing. Here's another thing. Want to know sheepish? Do you believe that a judge can be very sheepish? The most powerful judge in this nation will buckle. Want to know why? Because there is a rule. And it's hidden. But if you look for it, you can find it. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but you can find it. But the rule is this. If you're in there for an IRS case, do you realize that the IRS can go audit the judge if the judge sides for you? And there's nothing you can do about it beforehand unless you know that when you're in court, you bring that up. How can I have a fair trial when this judge now is underneath the IRS and if they go in favor of the judge, even if you have stacks to prove you're right, the judge will never side for you because then the IRS can come and audit the judge. Do you think the judge wants to be audited? Is that really getting the fair and unbiased ruling? See, because these are the things that you might not think is important, but you're going to run a business. Let me tell you another thing. When you sign the little signature card, this is what I'm talking about. These guys don't talk about that. I'm here and we're here as a team to make sure you win. Yes, we're not here to be your attorney, but that's why we get letter of opinions. The letter of opinions, man, I get a letter of opinion for an affidavit that I'll do, and I'll send it in. Or if I go open a bank account, I have a letter of opinion with the affidavit. As long as it's worded this way that I word it, I can give him that the resolution. I mean, give him the resolution to go ahead and open a bank account. And when I go ahead and open the bank account, but it also says in the resolution, if you read the little card they give you in the business, it says you're held accountable personally for the taxes if the corporation doesn't pay it. No. Resolution absolves me. It says any taxes that are due by the corporation is that I, he, I, we, whatever, we're not, the loose language is that you're not accountable for it because all that money that gets deposited into the account is only for business purposes only, and it's not of a personal nature in any way, shape, or form. So this way, you're not accountable for the taxes the corporation or mostly the corporation. LLC won't work too well. You got to have a corporation. Got to have a corporation. Because LLC, you see, you're still a managing member. You still have hands on it. A corporation, you have to get permission in order to do things. The permission slip is so important. But none of you understand that. You think, I don't need all that. Really? Wait till they get a hold of you and ask you, show us why. Because after 30 days, they don't answer. It becomes now, guess what? Law for you on your side. Go ask your attorney. Get a letter of opinion, would you please? Stop being so cheap to protect yourself. Look what Pfeiffer did against them and creating divisions. All right. Hey, we'll show you how to build your business. Don't get me all started on that. A lot of another thing, we're talking about real estate and everything like that. Real estate, our business vehicle, business trips. Do you realize you're never going to, when you have a corporation, again, I'm telling you, LLCs is horrible for this. Because still, I'm telling you, there are there are attorneys out there. They're becoming more sharper now. Except that one guy was ahead of the curve, but I know he's a little younger. Way, I want to say maybe 20 years. No, wait, excuse me, 10 years younger than me. He wasn't. He was just barely around. He wasn't quite yet where he's at when the LLCs came out. But evidently, this guy really studied them, and he's higher up in the jurisdiction of the court, somewhere in the federal somewhere, if I remember right. But anyways, this guy said straight out, straight up, I sliced through those within, he says, 5 seconds. And he's right. I've said this from even when it first started. An LLC is not a corporation. It's a limited liability company. And I don't care what kind of foo-foo an attorney tells you out there, ask him to guarantee you, because they're never going to guarantee you anything. But I know this one guy went on the record and said, I'll slice through any LLC within 5 minutes. And he explained why. Because this doesn't give you the protection. Even the IRS thinks it's a joke. Corporations, see everyone, oh, corporation, you got to do a lot of paperwork. No, it's the same thing you got to do. Oh, so you still have to have a meeting with your LLC. So, LLC, I don't know what it stands for, but I know you say it's a limited liability company, but it's called liability loose cannon. That's what I call it. Now, and I don't care who any of you credit builder people say, I use LLCs. I'll go up against you any day on an LLC versus a corporation. There's a way to set it up till you have an LLC. I mean, if you really want an LLC, there's a way to set it up to go ahead that you don't have hands on the LLC. I'm telling you, the way you set everything up is going to make the difference down the road. You do it in the beginning. You don't do it when you get in trouble. Don't do it when you start making millions. Start doing it when you're barely struggling. Start doing it when you have your first 2 years in business. Get everything set up, because when you get rolling, you're not going to remember to set things up that need to be set up. Oh, I'll do that later. There's no later. There is no later. That's the reason why I'm one of the best coaches in the business itself. I don't have to advertise. I just tell you like it is. This is what it is. Here, what state you in? Great. I'll call the attorney for you and set up the appointment. You show up, and then we'll draft out what you want him to do to give you a letter of opinion of what you plan on doing. Even what I'm saying tonight, I have a letter of opinion. Why? Because I'm not going outside of that. That tells me what I need to speak on, what I need to do, and how far I can go this way and how far I can go that way. That's why I can go. Any of you out there, you're all youngsters. There's very few OGs out there that have been around, been through the storm. You got to have some, especially during the COVID. A lot of you would have loved to have, because there was a way to get around all that stuff, and plus on top of getting the money and the other money that you could have gotten, and on top of that, you could have kept your employees working from home. I don't care if it was at a restaurant and you're there or a waiter. You say, you know what, you need to be at home, and there's a way that they can log in and clock in, and guess what? They could start calling around. They could have called around. I'm not going to mention the company I did it because I have an agreement with them not to mention it, because it worked really well. It's kind of non-disclosure agreement if you don't want to know what that is. It worked so well, they didn't go out of business. They had people call from home to do this. They kept calling, hey, we're open. And they called in the area that we're in, and they kept calling. And guess what? The people knew they were open. In fact, the business was even better driving through the drive-through. And then when the opportunity to come hand out to the drivers, that even did well. Hey, we're offering this now. And tell them specials. You show up, and then there are things they gave them and codes they gave them and so on to get discounts for coming. Folks, there's no limit. There's nothing you cannot do. When you have business credit, even for instance, the Postal Pitney Bowes, brand new company, Pitney Bowes, okay? Every one of my students that begin the program, the upper ones I really don't suggest it to them, but I think they should, but they want to. The reason why I do the little ones, because Pitney Bowes has a lot to offer. Pitney Bowes, as soon as you get your tax ID, when I say as soon as, give it a month. All right, so within 30 days, after 31 days, go apply Pitney Bowes and you'll get a $500 credit limit for postage. You can do your own mails at the house. You get a little machine, It's $4.90, almost $5 a month for the service and whatever stamps you use. You start with $500. It's good for a beginning company. What are you guys talking about? That's $500 that you get reported to your business Experian, Dun & Brad, and Equifax. On top of that, once you get up to a $5,000 limit with them, they have a credit card available. I'm just saying. This is the stuff that we teach you because this is the stuff that makes a difference when you're working your business. You're building business credit for your employees to have credit lines to pay your employees if you get in a quick jam or something else happens. Like, for instance, when the first COVID came out, they didn't have a whole lot for business till like maybe what, 4, 5, 6 months into it. If you had enough to carry you, they would have replaced that money. There was a special thing, they replaced the money. You folks got to understand, corporate credit blueprints, we're not here just to go ahead and mess around. We're to make sure that when the storm comes, you can stand up to it. In fact, you be just like the eagle. Do you realize the eagle's the only one that'll fly into the storm? Because they know on the other side is sunshine. Yeah, you might have to go ahead and sweat a little bit and look at everything around you and go, oh my God, lions, tigers, and bears. Instead of, when you keep your eyes on the prize, guess what? You won't get so beat up because you're not looking at the shadows. What you focus on the most is what you'll end up getting. Have you ever gone to those places where you have those skid cars where they drop the wheels from anything and you skid into a wall or wherever, or the opening? And because you start looking at the wall, you start going to the wall. You got to keep looking at that opening. It's really crazy. When they do it, it's still, if you look right at the hole, for some reason your body takes you there. All I'm going to tell you is you got to keep your eyes on the prize. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. I don't care what religion you're in. Spiritually, man, the same thing. It tells you, keep your eyes on the prize and keep walking on the water. Don't look anywhere else. Keep looking at, you know who? The man, a big man in the sky. Now, so with that said, let's keep going. All right, so it wasn't on very long tonight. I just want to remind you also is this. Remember, your business opportunity is this. A lot of you keep saying, if I had money, if I only had credit line, I can get into real estate. Man, would you guys stop that? Stop that nonsense. If you already had the money, we already hear corporate credit blueprints. Anyone that comes to us that wants to either start their business or get money to start their business, we let you use our money to go ahead and so you could go ahead and receive money by lending our money out. You take our money, get into the real estate game. You don't have to own a house. You don't have to own any real estate. You can get your first check within 45 days if you start it today for $2,000. And we provide everything you need. Everything. Now you fall right into this thing. If I have $50,000, you won't need a $50,000 line of credit because that's not enough. How about a $300 line of credit? How about $400? How about if you had 5 houses at $300,000 a piece? Guess what? We'll give it to you. Well, of course, we'll give it to you to lend. And you make yourself money. You got how much you want to make. It's up to you. The disclaimer is I can tell you can make up to $100,000 a year, but I can't guarantee you will because I don't know about you. I don't know how lazy you are, or not. Maybe you're not lazy, or I don't know what life might come and you fall apart. All I want to let you know is this: we're here to support you to make money so you can have money, and then eventually do what you want to do in life. Stop being a prisoner. A lot of you are in prison up here. In fact, there's people probably in prison systems that are freer than you because they finally got pulled out of the world, thrown into another kind of gauntlet. Now on top of that, some come out and some, don't come out so well. I'm going to tell you is this. A lot of you are in prison, and there's so much prison bars around you, you can't even see it. You're even in prison with some people that talk to you rudely and mean and say crazy things, like they're taken over by Satan or something. All of a sudden, all these words come out, and they're, it's like they're taking over like the legions, 7 people inside them or 1 million, however it is. I'm just telling you, folks, you say and think crazy things. And I'm like you. I'm human. Sometimes when someone will say something to me, and I'm a meaning-making machine. Oh, well, that must mean this. And I start slapping myself a little bit in my head going, yeah, right. And you're a mind reader, aren't you? That's dumb. And who am I? I don't walk in water, so how can I even figure out what they're saying? I don't even know, catch my thoughts sometimes. Come on. So all I want to let you know at Corporate Credit Blueprints, we're looking forward to working with you and bring you into the family. So guess why? So you can be not only spiritually, financially, mentally, emotionally, socially free. Why? Because when you start making money and get money in your pocket, this handles all 5 areas. It doesn't become your God. It becomes something you can do for, it gives you more power in the world to do things for other people because you're able to be a contribution instead of you being in the survival mode. So thank you very much. Good night. Love you all. And most of all, we'll see you on Sunday. And Sunday. Is there anything special I want to tell you about Sunday? Yes, there'll be something special for you Sunday. Talk to you later. Love you guys. And happy Veterans Day again. Veterans, thank you for everything you did. And for the people that we've never acknowledged, if you've never been acknowledged for the ops that you've done, and other people have taken off in the middle of the night on the big, nice, big old carrier, you know what I'm talking about, and went to some other country, handled some business, and come on back. Guess what? Thank you. Thank you very much. And also people that are in the Senate and also at the presidency, some of you need to stop being cowards. You know what I mean? Stand up, because you got people that are dying for you guys up there while you sit around and hopefully that no one finds out what you're doing. Guess what? Buckle up, man up, woman up, and guess what? Take care of those guys that take care of you. All right? In Jesus' name, amen.